Hey, what's up, D fam? Welcome back to the greatest Houston based podcast in the world, the Weekly D Podcast. I'm your host, Danny G. And today we got friend of the show, podcast producer of Texas Toast and OnlyFans. He was a rock star when we first met him. Now he's doing something a little different. Please allow me to introduce y'all to Kyle Garrett.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Hey, also, I'm still a rock star.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit of twang.
Yeah. Which, I mean, let's get right into it, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm loving the new music you're making. You released a couple EPs 2 years ago in 2022, right?
Yeah, so I can't
Spotlight.
even remember. Sorry, what were you saying?
It was Spotlight, Wildflower, and Working on You.
Yeah, so I released those three songs, I guess, right after we had talked last time, or maybe right before.
Mm-hmm.
But I was in the process of raising the money to record all these songs that I'm putting out now.
Okay.
Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure you and Kyle and probably OG Danny all
Mm-hmm.
contributed to that. So thank you so much. This literally wouldn't be happening if it weren't for you and everybody else who
Yes,
helped me
man.
out with that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I remember when you told me you were going to do country music, I was like, man, that's such a shift from doing all, but at the same time, it's not because I mean, country stems from rock and roll, and
Right.
likewise, they share. And I was so excited to hear those EPs when you dropped them, and I mean, Working on You is one of my favorite songs. I dedicated it to my wife right before we got married. Like,
What?
yeah, I fell in love with the song,
Oh, man.
and yeah, I couldn't believe that, someone I knew wrote a song. And I was like, holy shit, that's the perfect song. And kind of explain it kind of I related to it because at the time me and my wife were going through a little bit of a rough patch. We're engaged, but we're kind of, getting used to being with each other all the time and whatnot. And it just resonated with me in a way that I just did not expect. And still to this day, it's one of my favorite songs.
Dude, first of all, we haven't talked since you got married. Congrats. Huge
Thank you.
congrats. I've kind of followed along with your posting and stuff on social media, but that's awesome. Super happy for you. And we'll get into the
Yeah.
many years we've known each other now. But yeah, dude, that means the world. That's so cool that just
Yeah,
that
man.
song resonates with you. That's
I love it. And then, you're constantly making music. I've been following you as well. I see you're in a relationship now.
mhm.
That's exciting.
She's
Your
very cool.
music definitely sounds like you're in love.
For sure. Well, I mean, it'll ebb and flow as these songs kind of come out over the year.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I'm 100% in love.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man, I'm loving it. I've like I said, I've been stalking your Instagram as well, kind of following you along, and it's pretty crazy to just think about it. Like I've been reflecting on how we met and how you were literally one of the first ever guests of the Weekly D podcast,
Right.
and me and Daniel Tom Chesson, who
hmm
was what was he? He was like a
I was
third
trying
or
to
fourth
explain.
cousin or something like
Yeah,
that.
I don't know. I was trying to explain it to my girlfriend a couple days ago, and I couldn't remember. It was far enough to not really know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was so weird. I'm probably remembering this wrong, but we were at our friend's event over there in
At Packard's
Memorial
Pub.
area. Yeah,
Yeah.
Packard's, right. We were at Packard's, and then it was just kind of like, hey, y'all want to go do this? And
Yeah.
we went and recorded the podcast. Okay, cool. I didn't know
Yeah.
if I remember that right, but
And
yeah, that
that's
was,
the funny thing is that's literally how this podcast started. Was we would go
yeah,
to Packard's Pub, hang out there, and be like, just find random people, be like, hey, you,
find some
you want to go
gas.
hang out with us?
Oh man, that's so funny.
Yeah,
Wow. But
man.
yeah, that was, like you said before we started recording, that was potentially 5.5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years almost.
That's crazy, man. So
It's so
wow, time
crazy.
flies.
Yeah, it's so crazy, but it's really cool to kind of see how we've been growing up and kind of you've been doing the music thing.
Mm,
You've always been great with audio. I mean, I remember you helped us out with the live podcast a couple times
hmm
with Past the Gravy, and then you kept doing your thing. We've been friends. We keep in touch here and there.
hmm
And yeah, I'm excited to see where your career is going to go from here and what you're doing with your music.
Yeah, man.
But
I'm excited about it too. A lot going on.
yeah. So first off, last time you were on here, you guys were barely starting Texas Toast, if I remember
Mm,
right.
okay. That
Um,
seems crazy, but yeah, that's probably about right.
yeah, I think it was the last time you guys were either had your first maybe 10 episodes or y'all were just about to start.
Wow, that's crazy, dude. We've released 2 episodes a week for the last 3 years.
That is crazy to me.
Yeah, yeah, no, we've been rocking
Wow,
and rolling, man.
that's awesome,
It's
man.
it's been fun. It's weird because that one I'm like a co-host, but I also produce.
Mhm.
And we've had some guests that are like, you know, just like me, for probably everybody listening to this, you've never heard of, but like maybe hopefully they'll go check out my song or whatever.
Mhm.
A lot of that, but we've also had some guests that are like nationally recognized people that like I never in a million years would have thought we'd have on the show, and it's been
Mhm.
cool, man. I've learned so much. I've really like dedicated myself to like trying every idea we have to like see what works best for the
Mhm.
audience engagement. And we could get real dorky on podcast stuff, but I'm sure nobody
Yeah.
listening cares about any of that. But yeah, man, it's been fun. That's crazy to think about 10 episodes in when now we're like
All
uh
right, deep into it.
300 and
Yeah,
380 or something like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
that's so crazy, and the consistency y'all have had is just outstanding, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
y'all do
yeah.
2 episodes a week. How difficult has it been to be that consistent doing 2 episodes a week?
Man, it's been tough. I mean, we've missed a couple. Like, I want to say maybe less than five. And then, like, in the holidays, the last two
Mhm.
years, we've kind of like changed it up a little bit. Like, this last year, we just did some kind of like, our favorite songs of the year and then our favorite Christmas releases of the year. And I
Mhm.
guess, so we kind of wing it. But yeah, we've maybe missed five in
Wow.
that time period. But it's been tough. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like, we do it remotely. I have to schedule it with the guest. Guests
Mhm.
or not constantly, but regularly cancel or have to reschedule.
Mhm.
Stuff comes up with me. Stuff comes up with Miss Helen, the host. But we make it happen. She's awesome. She's very kind of like laid back.
Yeah.
She works, but she's kind of like retired too, like kind of living her
Mhm.
best life, like out in on the coast, like fishing and stuff. So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah, I've
yeah,
caught quite a bit of episodes. I really enjoy how you are doing like almost like a for Texas by Texas country podcast,
yeah, yeah.
which is awesome because I've got to learn about like different artists that are in the area,
Hmm.
or like you said, red dirt country. So
Yeah,
you get to hear a lot of the local sound, which is really cool. And the fact that you are spotlighting that is amazing.
yeah.
Um, with that being said, is there one guest that specifically stood out to you where you're like, man, like this was a great interview, or one that you really connected with?
Man, there's a ton. I'd have to go back and look, but I guess that would be ruining the purpose of your question. The guy, I mean, I hate to be that guy, but the guy we just had on this previous week has become a friend of mine, but his name's Sam Cox, and he's actually a booking agent and a talent
Mhm.
buyer. So basically he gets bands booked in venues, and he also books bands for venues. So he kind of like
Okay.
is on both sides of the
Hmm.
thing. But that one was great for our audience because most of the people who listen to the show are like young, upcoming artists or people involved kind of with the Texas country scene. Um, and he's just dropping knowledge, like just everything he said was just like brilliant and great
Hmm.
perspective and so much like just education kind of for those people just like me who are like trying to figure out how to navigate the scene and like the music business and things like
Hmm.
that. So
Oh, because you're also a tour manager, right?
yeah, so I mean, that's been my thing. That's why I
Hmm.
kind of switched gears from, like you were saying, I was in a rock band and
Hmm.
I got pulled into Texas country actually because of Texas Toast podcast and then ended up meeting some people and I toured with a couple different artists in Texas country
Hmm.
and now I work for a different artist. But that's more of kind of like a management role and it's not as much on the road.
Hmm.
Still pretty similar, but yeah, sorry, tangent. I
Oh, you're
was a
good.
tour manager.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. And how was that experience? Because like it's two different avenues: being a musician and then be managing a tour. I'm sure
Yeah.
there was a lot of things you learned from it, and probably some things that you carried over from when you used to book your shows for High Dive.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, there wasn't a lot of booking with the tour manager, and understandably, that gets confused a lot with like a booking agent.
Hmm.
when I was doing that stuff, or even now, people ask what I do for a living aside from playing music myself. Is
Hmm.
I say I'm like a babysitter for adults or musicians, because essentially I would um, like verify all the details and logistics of like
Hmm.
the travel for one show or multiple shows. And I'm sorry, I was thinking of how to describe. In Texas, a lot of bands will do what they call like weekend runs or like weekend warrior touring, where they only go out like Friday, Saturday, and then they come home for the week. And rock and everything I'd known before that, it's like you just hit the road and leave for like 2 months, and you're just playing as many shows as you can, and then you come home for a long period of time.
Hmm.
Um, so those vary as far as your approach before you're actually on the road. But then once you're in the van or the bus or the RV or the car or whatever, you're driving a lot. You're making sure people get in and out of the gas station as quickly as
Hmm.
possible. You're making sure everybody loads in their gear, loads out their gear. You're filling all the gaps. You're just doing kind of everything you possibly can to make everybody's life easier.
Okay.
I was sometimes setting up and selling merchandise as well, sometimes doing some audio stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's just kind of like it's like you're
You wear
like
many
like
hats.
yeah, you're like the Aggies' 12th man, or
Yeah,
the
yeah,
basketball team's fifth member, or
yeah.
sorry, sixth man.
So
Yeah,
I'm guessing those gas station runs were a little hard and having to avoid so many Buc-ee's in Texas, huh?
I mean, yeah, they stopped at a lot of Buc-ee's. I love Buc-ee's. I'm one of those guys. I stop at Buc-ee's pretty much every time I have the
You
opportunity.
go
But
by.
yeah, it's hard to get musicians out of Buc-ee's for sure.
Hmm.
It's like I'm like running around this giant place, like wrangling or herding cats. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's
dude, that's
it's fun,
awesome.
man. Yeah,
That's awesome. And I remember last time you were on here, you had told me that Texas Toast had kind of sparked the love for country music again.
for sure. Yep.
And it was like the beginning of your journey of going back into country and just falling in love with the music, the genre of it. How's that adventure been going?
Yeah, no, it's been great. Like I said, I was heavily immersed in it because I was hired to start Texas Toast, and then ultimately me and Helen like kind of acquired it and just kept it for ourselves,
Hmm.
just because we wanted to do what we wanted to do with it. Um, and I met the one of actually I met all the artists that I've toured for through
Hmm.
that podcast. I've started my own business, doing like video editing and that all that type of stuff, just based on connections I've made through country music. But also, like you said, the main thing was I grew up listening to country
Hmm.
and then totally fell away from it.
Hmm.
With the alternative, the metal, all that stuff, and yeah, it like I didn't know Texas Red Dirt's strange because it's small. It's like very niche.
Hmm.
Um, but it's like a thriving community that like people outside of like Texas and Oklahoma and maybe like Colorado, they don't really know that it's here. And I didn't
Hmm.
either. But now it's like kind of my whole world, you
Yeah,
know.
that's awesome,
It's
man.
it's weird.
That's
Yeah, but I
awesome.
love it. I love it.
Yeah, no, that's really cool because like, I mean, even in your music, you can tell you're really passionate about your music. I mean, you always have been, but these new projects that you've been putting out, these EPs, the single "Backseat Driver" was
Hmm.
freaking awesome. The video was great.
Yeah,
And yeah, like it's just I'm really loving the way you're trying different things with your sound too, kind of bringing back your old stuff and kind of mixing it in with the twang. I really liked. You had a song that you sent me.
hmm
It was one of the last ones. It had a little bit of an alt feel to it, a little bit of a rock
it's
and roll feel.
probably yeah. So there's one that's like kind of funky, or not funky. It's just weird.
Yeah, they have
Called
some distortion in it.
Take It
Yeah,
Easy. Yeah,
yeah, I really like the vibe of that. I like how you're
yeah,
mixing the twang with the rock. It sounds really good, man.
totally. Yeah, I mean I think that's what I thought was so cool about this Texas country red dirt thing whenever I found it was it's like, and I tell people this all the time, but if I knew that scene or that world existed whenever we started High Dive would have been a Texas country band.
Yeah.
We would have been like a little bit less fast, and we
Hmm.
would have been playing at all these places around Texas every weekend rather than thinking we needed to travel around the whole country to
Yeah.
make any money. Um, but yeah, it's there's definitely alternative influence. There's like some maybe classic rock or blues influence. There's
Hmm.
definitely some pop punk influence in the music. Um, yeah, it's cool, and that scene's very accepting. Like
Yeah.
they get down with just good music. Not It's not really like it has to sound exactly like George Strait or whatever.
Hmm.
You can sound like a rock band, but if you
Yeah.
put on a good show and you're cool, then
Yeah. And how has that been? Because I've seen you perform at the Dosey Doe a few times.
yeah,
How have those? Because that was the first place you performed, right? When you came out
yeah.
as a country singer.
It's funny, man. I was just talking to my girlfriend because we're actually going to be at Dosey Doe this or in a couple days for a show with the artist that I work for.
Hmm.
Um, but like, so I live in Austin these days, and it's
Oh,
like we
cool.
don't get to Houston very much. But the last few times we've come to Houston, every single time it's been to go to Dosey Doe.
Hmm.
It's like I spend more time at Dosey Doe than I do in the rest of Houston. Anyways, yeah, no, I love that place, man. They're great. Everybody that works there is awesome. The room is amazing. If you've never been there, you gotta go check it out. It's like an old I think it's an old tobacco barn from
Okay.
Virginia or West Virginia or something, and then they
Hmm.
bought it and brought it down to Houston in pieces and reassembled it, and then it was like a coffee factory, and then it was like a whiskey
Oh,
bar, and now
that's
it's
so
like
cool.
this. Dude, it's sick. And now it's like this intimate, like 400 seat, just sick music venue.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been wanting to check it out. Every time I see you coming in, unfortunately, the last few times I've seen you come down to the Dosey Doe, I've had something like scheduled for that weekend,
Yeah,
so I haven't been able to make it out to a show. But it's on my list for this year. Is like the next, maybe not this one, but the next one. As
yeah.
soon as I hear about it, I'm gonna put it on my calendar and make sure I make it out there because I've been wanting to see you perform live.
Hmm.
I've known you for quite a while. I've seen you perform once, I believe,
Hmm.
but I want to see. I've never seen you perform country, and that's on my list of things to do this year is get
Yeah.
to see you at least once. But yeah.
Yeah, you got to come catch a full band show. Well, I'm sure there will be something in Houston coming up. We've got not a whole lot on the calendar right now, but there's a few things kind of rolling in.
Hmm.
I actually don't think I have any full band stuff on the calendar right now, but I'll definitely let you know when
Yeah, for sure.
something like that pops up.
Shoot me a message that way I can put it on my calendar and make sure I make
Yeah.
it out there. But what was it like the first time you performed country music? What was that feeling like?
I mean, it was a while. It was a while ago because I played a show by myself at Dosey Doe back in 20 like early 2022, and then didn't play anything else for like a year and a half, just because I was busy with the other guys on the road. But I think it's still kind of the same feeling. It's surreal because like I've just played so many shows with a loud rock band where I can't even really tell what's going on stage because everything's just so loud and chaotic
Hmm.
in a good way. But and now it's kind of just like I get to like sit there with my guitar and like feel the moment.
Hmm.
And it's especially at Dosey Doe because the way that that place is, it's just so it feels like you're sitting at your kitchen table with like a bunch of people that you care about
Hmm.
playing to the room. It's just so comfortable. But yeah, man, it's cool. It's nice being able to just kind of like relax and like play the songs and like people appreciate the songs rather than just like the high energy like headbanging stuff.
Hmm.
Um, which I love that too. But yeah, I'm digging it so far. We'll kind of see where it takes me.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. That's awesome because I mean, like I said, you're making great music. Are you writing all your songs, or is there co-writers, or
Yeah, I
what's the
mean,
process like?
yeah, totally. That's a great question because that's a big thing in country music and I guess other music too. But in country in particular, there's a lot of co-writing that happens, and people like make an effort to go do co-writes where they like just go in with a
Because it's the Nashville rule, isn't it? Like if one person gets one word in the writing of the song, they get some sort of royalty or
yeah,
credit to it.
yeah. So that's what they call it is a word for a third, and
Hmm.
um, yeah. I mean, I can get behind that. Like I like the idea. It's tough for me. I think whenever it's like if you write the chorus, which is like the catchy
Hmm.
repetitive part, and then like somebody else comes in and gives you like literally one little word and like an irrelevant part of the song, and it's kind of like.
Yeah.
But anyways, I wrote I think all the songs. I mean, I definitely wrote part of all the songs on this
Hmm.
upcoming project that I'll be releasing throughout the year. My friend Clay Melton helped me write Backseat Driver,
Okay.
Um, and then I'm trying to think of who else co-wrote. I know there's other co-writers on these other songs, but it's been so long since I've thought about it, so I'm not sure off the top of my head. But I don't do a whole lot of co-writing. I kind of wish that I made more time for it because
Hmm.
it's like a, it's weird. It's like it's a very intimate thing doing that. Like, yeah, you
Hmm.
have to like drop all your inhibitions and guards and stuff to be
Vulnerable.
successful doing that. I think, yeah, vulnerable. Um, but I think that if anything, it's just a challenge. Even if it, like you don't leave the co-write with something great or even
Hmm.
good, it makes you think about things in a new way. So yeah,
Gotcha. And what's your writing process like with country music? Is it a little bit different than when you used to write alt music, or rock music?
not at all. It is the exact same.
Yeah.
I am a very, very pop centric or pop focused writer.
Hmm.
Um, I just love songs that are catchy. I love songs that like you can sing along to and that like get stuck in your head.
Hmm.
Um, and that's the goal. I mean, aside from telling a good story, but like, the goal and like the structuring of a song and like the way that I sing notes and stuff,
Hmm.
I'm only really thinking about I want this to be something that somebody gets stuck in their head.
Which I mean, Backseat Driver. I don't know if it's as many how many times I've listened to it, and like every time I open my Instagram, it plays,
Yeah,
or if it's that catchy, but it's stuck in my head.
yeah, and that's because I've been posting way too much stuff.
No, but you have to like that. That's part of the game, right? Well, it's
Sure,
probably the hardest part of music or of just content creation is having to
yeah,
constantly post, and sometimes you feel like you're doing too much because you're constantly on there. But I mean,
yeah.
that's really the only way social media pushes you into their algorithm to where everyone sees it.
Right. Yeah, no, it's, I have that battle every day because, like I said, I do feel like I'm posting too much, especially for the people that are following me. Because it's like, dude, you're posting the same audio with just like a different silly little video clip on top of it every day.
Mhm.
But, but you're right. You have to kind of like just tell yourself that it's worth it to do that
Hmm.
because the more and more and more consistent you are, the more that you get that wider reach, like you
Yeah,
said.
the algorithm just picks it up and starts going with it.
Yeah, I'm also kind of convinced though that none of the apps anymore do any kind of an organic push. Like I think that they all have
You
gotten
have
to
to
a point
pay.
where they know, yeah, they've got like there's been cycles, like Facebook originally was like where you go viral and then like
Hmm.
Instagram came around, so Facebook's like, "Oh, okay, we can just charge people tons of money for these ads."
Hmm.
Um and then it's just cycled from
Yeah,
there.
it's a tricky game for sure. That's
Yeah.
it's one thing we've noticed too. Like with all the stuff we post, it's like you can
Mhm.
almost see a trend on how everything works
Mhm.
and how each one does like a certain amount of numbers, and you end up sitting there like, is that all bots? Is it people actually
Right.
looking at it, or is it just
Yeah.
them playing with my emotions?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you from experience that. Well, actually, I can not tell you from not experience that I think we talked about it last time, but I posted a TikTok every day for a year covering
Hmm.
just like a different song. TikTok hated that. They like shadow banned me or whatever. Like I
Hmm.
never got any views on any of them. Not a single one even got close to viral. And I've posted on and off more so recently in the last like month or two, starting to build up to this release, but on and off, and nothing has taken off at
Yeah.
all. So
But then you're gonna have that
I
one
have no
thing that
idea.
you're gonna be asleep at night and your phone's just gonna be bling, 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 and then you wake up and oh wow, I got 1,000 views, three thousand
Yeah,
views. I mean, it
yeah,
happens to us all the time, right? We'll post stuff every day and kind of keep it going over
mm,
all the social medias and YouTube. And when we least expect something to kind of catch a little bit, we'll wake up and oh, you got 2,000 views on this, and you're like,
right.
well, let's try to repeat that, and then you repeat it and it doesn't
It
work.
doesn't work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so crazy because it's like they tell you, oh, you got to figure out what the algorithm likes at that time,
Mhm.
and then you get one thing that's going. Like on the Texas Toast TikTok, for example, right now, like
Mhm.
the view count is pretty consistently growing. It's steadily growing from video to video. So I'm
Mhm.
doing something right, but I have no idea what it is.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, and
And
I
on the
hate
Kyle,
that. I hate
dude,
having
it's
to try to figure it out because no matter what you do, once you figure out the trend, it's past.
It's gone. Yep, exactly. And then like on the Kyle Garrett TikTok, I struggle to get 100. Like there's like 5,000 followers or maybe
Mhm.
2,000. I don't even know, but like a couple thousand followers, and I'm hardly getting 100 views on anything I post on that
Yeah.
TikTok right now. It's just like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's funny too because like I'm at the point with social media where I don't even use it personally. I just use it
Mm.
to promote my stuff, and then
Yeah.
like I don't care about I don't care for it anymore. Like
Mm.
this is my favorite thing is getting to talk to people. You know,
Right.
even
Right.
if it's
Right.
virtually. Like I rather do this than you know interact through a like or a share. Which I
Right.
mean, I always share. Like I always try to make sure it's one of the things, one of the goals that's always been mine when we started this podcast is to always promote the people that you know come on our show and share their stuff because our the goal when we started this podcast was to create like a network and a family, really, right? We all
Hmm.
push everyone helps everyone out, and hopefully we all make it one day.
Yeah. Totally. And I think that's
Yeah.
what, or that's what the people that I, you know, stand by are doing.
Hmm. Yeah, I
So
mean,
we
I feel like
appreciate it.
that's the best way to grow. To be honest, is just make good, solid friends, and kind of everyone helps everyone grow a little
Yep.
bit.
Absolutely. Everybody's just working together. That's, there was a lot of that like toxic stuff growing up in music for me. And I feel like some of it I have to like shake off the cobwebs every now and then. But like
Mhm.
it always felt like a competition and like, oh, like we're so much better than that band. Like, why are they playing this show? Just like dumb kid
Mhm.
stuff, and I still definitely have thoughts like that and have to remind myself, like, I said this the other day when I was talking to somebody, but it's like, first of all, I have to remind myself that whenever I put out a song, millions of other people also put out a song and
Mhm.
they all think that the song they just put out is just as cool as the
Mhm.
I feel like the song that I just put out is.
Yeah.
Um, So, but, and that's true. Like, just because my song's awesome doesn't mean I can't support somebody else's song. And
Yeah.
it definitely doesn't mean that I should, like, rag on them because I think their song's, like, worse than mine or
Mhm.
something. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I love that. It feels like as a whole society, we've kind of shifted gears that in that aspect,
Mm,
right? Where now you see a lot more people like helping their people grow, and then
right.
everyone grows together. And
Yeah.
it's like you see so many teams of people now, rather than everyone just shitting on each other and be like, "Oh no,
Totally.
I'm better than you."
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I had never really thought about it on, like, a grand scheme like that, but I think you're right. There's a lot more just kind of like general support for sure.
Which is awesome. Now back
Yeah.
to the music. You said that you mainly do pop music, but you have one ballad in the new project, Last Call.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
for sure.
I absolutely love that song.
Yeah.
Like I
Thank you.
absolutely love
Thank you.
that song. Yeah, I heard it. I think I've listened to that song more than any other song in the new
Wow.
project. I don't know it feels like you put emotion into it. You put your heart into it. The lyrics are beautiful. I mean, it was a great song, dude. Kudos
Thank
for
you.
that one. I
Thanks, man.
absolutely love that song. I can't wait till you actually release it. Because we
Yeah.
don't get a lot of ballads from you, to be honest.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, working on you, I guess, like you said, and that makes sense that you like that one because working on you is like a bit of a slower song. But
Hmm.
and sorry, just real quick before we talk about that one, I didn't mean to say that I only do pop stuff, like pop music, like upbeat radio pop. I just meant that in the sense of like
The way
has the popular sensibility, like
yeah,
catchiness. Essentially,
yeah.
that's because even with Last Call, my goal was I want to write like a slower, kind of sad, heavy song,
Hmm.
but the chorus is still catchy.
Yeah.
It's gonna get stuck in your head. But that song's that's probably the most personal song
Hmm.
on that project, which makes sense that why it turned out that way. Kind of, it's very
Yeah,
emotional and
dude, it came out so good. Like when I was listening to it, and it made me feel some type of way the first time I heard it. And I was like, I gotta listen to it again. And
yeah,
honestly, it's on my playlist for like when I go on walks and stuff. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
I've
cool, man.
been playing it. I guess my question to you is like, what influenced you to write a song like that?
Mm. Yeah, so just straight up, there's lots of history of alcoholism in my family, and it's kind of a struggle that I've dealt with like since I was a teenager. Not necessarily like alcoholism, but just like my relationship with alcohol.
Hmm.
Um, and you know, you there's I've screwed up things
Mhm.
due to alcohol. I've made bad choices, and people in my family have as well. So yeah, I wrote that song pretty much just trying to like figure out how I felt about the way that I viewed drinking.
Mhm.
Like they'll have to check it out and listen to it. But yeah, that pretty
Yeah.
much sums it up. Like I said, it's a very personal song for me. Like whenever I sing it or play, like I played it, I've only played it live once, and it was hard. Like it was heavy.
I would have
Like
killed to be in that room to hear you play that song.
yeah. Well, it's yeah, it's
That's a
intense. It's
beautiful
one of those.
song, man. And it's crazy because when you met me, you met like the crazy me. Like we always joke about it on this podcast now that I was. I mean, you saw where we stayed at. I don't know
Yeah.
if you ever opened the fridge door. We had no food there. It was always just beer. Like at one point, I had lost so much weight when we stayed at that apartment because all I
Mm,
was doing was drinking beer. I wasn't eating. Like
mm.
I was just like alcohol all the time.
Dude, I was kind of the same, man. For a
So
while, it's. How
yeah,
old are you?
I'm about to be 30. I'm 29.
Oh, okay, cool. You're like a year ahead of me. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that makes sense. We're going through that. Not that everybody has that phase, but I feel like a lot of us had that phase.
yeah. And
you know.
I now knowing that, like, I, I think I know why it resonated even more with me, right? Because of like what the lyrics are saying, and now knowing that it's about your struggles with alcohol, it hits even harder, man.
Yeah,
Because
that's cool.
because like I said, when you met me, I was cocained out, like doing all sorts of
Mm,
drugs, drinking. It was
yeah,
just not the best me,
totally. Yeah, and that's probably why we hit it off because we were both in the
right?
same place in life. But yeah, I mean that's another thing. It's kind of like I've still got a lot of growing up to do, I think, but
Mhm,
I'm working on it. And like you said, I'm in a relationship, and she means the world to me, and is by far the most important thing. My number
mhm.
one priority is that relationship. So
That's
I did
awesome.
write the song before that, but it was kind of like a looking forward, like this is what I want. This is
Mhm,
how I want to view things. Like I want my decision making to kind of reflect this message.
mhm.
Um, Another thing about that song that I forgot about was that we fully recorded that, like fully produced, the way you normally make a record on all those songs, except Last Call. I just like it was just like a mic in a room, and I just played that through. Like it was like a
Man.
live
Mhm.
recording.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome, dude. No, that's crazy. Like I said, that song really just stood out to me.
that's
Since you
cool.
sent me the album, like I've been going through it every day, just because like I want to dissect it, but also appreciate it.
Mm,
I'm weird with music. Like the first time I hear it, I gotta like really pay attention to the lyrics, be in a quiet room where I can just really focus on what you're saying and then dissect it. Then the
yeah,
next go around, I listen to it as a whole and then just like try to enjoy it and connect with it. And that
yeah,
song just really stood out to me.
that's cool, man. Yeah, it's funny. I'm kind of the opposite. It's weird as a songwriter, but whenever I find new music, it's like the music has to sell me before I even care what you're talking about in the lyrics.
Mhm.
It's kind of backwards, I guess.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm loving the album. I'm loving what you're doing with your country music.
Thanks, dude.
Um, so you said you're dropping a new song on the 14th, right?
I think this month,
Next month.
well, February, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So the music video for Backseat Driver will come out on the 14th.
Okay.
Um, and
Okay, that's what I
then
mixed up. Yeah.
yeah, and then
Which
I've
the
got a
video
new.
is awesome. The video is
Thank
really
you.
cool. I
Yeah, man,
really
and
like
like I said, it's like a nice follow up to that story of Last Call. It's like
it. Hmm.
I don't know, you'll see. It was so much fun to make. Like I some friends of mine helped me do that thing, and it came out great. And it's
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't be happier with that.
No,
So
that's awesome. So
that's gonna be fun.
are you gonna have more videos coming out to go along with the songs, or they're specific?
Yeah, I mean that's the goal for sure. I mean, it's like you said, it's kind of like a content game. So
Hmm.
as far as like release strategy goes, the idea is kind of like for the sake of the TikTok algorithm, I'm gonna put out a song like basically every 8 weeks.
Okay.
Um, so every 2 months.
Hmm.
And then in between those releases, like after Backseat Driver, I'm letting this one breathe a little bit because people
Hmm.
seem to be enjoying it. Um, but I'm going to put out a music video, and then there's going to be like a lyric video and some other content, and then a new song will hit, and
Mhm.
then kind of the same thing. It'll be different and different order and different types of visuals and stuff. But uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's
Awesome.
pretty much
Yeah,
the idea
no.
is just trying to stay relevant.
Yeah, I told the boys, that we're gonna do a reaction video to the music video once it drops.
Oh, cool.
So the
Yeah, that'd
week
be awesome.
after when we record, because we do a live stream when it's just me and the two producers. So
Okay.
we'll do a live stream where we do a honest. Well, they'll do an honest reaction. I already watched it. I couldn't get
Okay,
enough
cool.
of it, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be awesome, man.
yeah,
Thank you.
man. No, of course. Like it's like I said, it's one of my favorite things about this podcast is getting to put on for different people and getting to talk to different people, walking different paths of life. Like we met 6 years ago, and look at you now. You were in a pop punk. Are you still with High Dive, or and then that
Yeah,
fizzle out?
yeah, totally. So it's weird. We all kind of got pulled different directions. COVID
Mhm.
obviously kind of derailed all that, but we've played a couple shows. We actually played a show at Warehouse Live in the big room a couple months ago, opening for like a bunch of different metal bands that we like grew up loving, and that was like
Mhm.
so cool, so nostalgic. Because and I imagine you too have at least seen a show or two in that
Yeah,
room,
yeah.
and we always just wanted to play that stage. So it was so sick getting to do that.
Isn't it crazy that it shut down and they're
Well,
relocating?
yeah, so they moved. They're moving to
Yeah.
Rise Rooftop. I don't remember. I was talking to somebody that night of the show, and I can't remember exactly why they were doing that, but
Mhm.
it sounded like good news. It
Yeah.
is kind of sad because I loved that place.
It's
That was my
historic. Yeah.
yeah, totally. Like everybody from
From Houston, like
well, yeah, I was gonna say everybody from Drake to somebody, but like that's Drake's place,
yeah,
and he's
yeah.
a Houston guy, so yeah, Drake to Zero to I don't know all the
Everybody,
cool
everyone that's been through
bands.
here, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Has.
It is kind of sad. I hadn't really thought about that, but
Yeah, I thought about it when I found out about it. I was like, man, this like it's awesome, right? Because they're renovating, they're leveling up, but at
yeah,
the same time, it's such a historic spot. That's
somebody's got to
what I
turn that
love
into
about
another
that.
venue. I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
I guess unless they tear it down, but man, that would be
I don't think
heartbreaking.
so. I don't think they'll tear it down. It's
Yeah.
too busy of an area to just tear it down.
Well, they build condos like they do on every other
I
corner.
hope not. That'd be
Yeah,
terrible.
we'll see.
That
We
would
just
be
won't go over
terrible.
there anymore, so
Yeah,
I'll never see it.
right. So,
Man, I can't get these AirPods to stay in my ears. Sorry about
oh,
that.
they keep trying to fall out.
Yeah, every time I smile, they're like squeezing out of my ears.
Yeah. So, just real quick personal question: like, how'd
Yeah.
you meet your girlfriend? Because I've seen that y'all have been together for a little bit.
Hmm.
Like I said, I've been stalking your Instagram for a while. I always like to just like check up to see what my friends are up to and how they're doing. And then
Totally.
so we started dating there. Y'all been traveling. Looks like y'all are living your best lives. To be honest.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we've done a lot of cool stuff together. We met in like the late summer of 2022, and we've been
Wow,
going going hard since then.
a
I
good
guess you
minute.
could say. Yeah, it's past all the little introductory things. It's
Mhm.
yeah, she's
And y'all seem to do
she's
a
my
lot of
person.
like hiking and stuff like that. What's your favorite place that y'all have been to?
Yeah, so that's something that her and I hadn't like I knew about her before we started dating, but yeah, she's big onto that. She loves Big Bend.
Hmm.
We went on a really awesome road trip last year, over the summer I guess, and we went to like a bunch of different national parks. So we went to like Moab, we went to Arches, then we drove all the way up to through Idaho and went
Hmm.
to Glacier, and that was the like one of the probably the coolest trip I've ever been on in my
Yeah.
life. But yeah, I mean, it would be hard to say where the coolest hike was, but we did this one thing in Glacier National Park where we hiked up, um, basically just like the side of a mountain all day,
Hmm.
and then once we got to the end, it was like an actual glacier, like a
Oh
real
wow.
glacier melted, like because of the summer, I guess, and
Hmm.
we like got in the water and it was freezing cold, but it was kind of it was funny because we were both hesitant to get in, then we did it, and we were both
Hmm.
glad we did because it like revamped us to get back down,
Oh
to do the
yeah,
whole
dude.
hike back.
There's something about cold water that it does something to you.
Gets you going.
I've heard like they say that the reason polar plunges and things are so good for you is because it makes the blood rush to all your
Mm,
body because your
yeah,
body
it like
thinks it's dying.
refreshes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it just gives you a crazy energy boost.
yeah,
That's
totally.
awesome, though. Yeah, I've seen the pictures. You went to Moab. I'm low key kind of jealous because I've always dreamt of going to the Moab. Uh,
Dude, it's
and
sick.
it's on my bucket list of one of the places to go see before I die.
We want to move out there.
Yeah,
That's kind of the goal. We're hoping to get out there at some point. Yeah, that's like the place that her and I both really really uh,
yeah,
would like to end up.
dude. There's something about it that it just calls my name. I gotta make it out there one day.
Yeah,
I
man,
just
it's
I
pretty
gotta see
crazy.
it
Like
before I die.
even if you're not into like the big hikes and stuff, it's it's breathtaking, but it's also just weird. Like it
Mhm.
feels like you're on a different planet. So it's
Yeah, that's what
yeah,
I've heard, and I think that's one of the things that interests me about it is just like how it's so alien to us, but it's there.
yeah. I mean, it's just right there in the middle of Utah. It's super
Yeah,
strange. Yeah,
yeah, that's really cool. But I'm happy for you, man. I'm happy to see that you're
thanks,
happy.
dude. Yeah,
I
happy for
love.
you too, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I love to see that you're having a good relationship. That your music's going the way you want it to. What's your favorite song on the project so far?
Oof. That's tough, man. I mean, like I said, last call kind of means the most to me. Um, that one's very personal. They're all derived from something personal, but
Hmm.
I think I kind of talked about this last time. But a lot of the stuff's fictional, is in terms of like I have an idea or like see a friend going through something, or I hear somebody talking about something, and it like sparks this idea
Hmm.
that turns into the song. But I wanted to say that the title cut, which that's not even announced yet, because I haven't said anything about that. But the project's called Heartbreak Motel,
Okay.
and actually for Houston people, you'll maybe remember this, but driving out 290 towards like Brenham, there
Hmm.
used to be this little shack like in a pond on the side of the highway, and it was like a little tiny beach house in the middle of somebody's fishing pond, and it said Heartbreak Motel. Uh,
I
so
think I vaguely remember it. Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, that was the inspiration for that. But that song actually, I think, is probably my favorite. It's just very different, very cool. It's got like the big rock stuff, like you were talking
Hmm.
about, reminiscent of what I was doing before. But it's also got like this weird, like Western kind of like,
Yeah.
you think of like I can't think of anything other than Django Unchained, but you think of like the whip
Uh huh.
cracking,
Uh
like
huh.
like old Western movie kind of vibes, and I don't know, it's just cool. I think that song came out really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. I listened to it too. I really enjoyed it, and that's the next song, right? That's gonna drop.
No, that one's not next. Actually, I don't know when that one's going to come out. The next one's called "Who's Keeping Score,"
That one.
um,
I mixed
and
them.
that one's like a math equation. It's probably the most country song on the
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
Um,
I was about to say that one had the most twang to
yeah,
it.
for sure. But it's still got like some like rockin' like pop punk chug
Hmm.
guitar and like cool little guitar licks and stuff. But yeah, that one's next. That one's kind of like that's a drinking song, I guess. It's it starts out, it says 18 beers, but it's basically like trying to figure out how many beers it's going to take to forget,
Hmm.
essentially, like a person or a memory or a
Hmm.
whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. No, that's a fun song too.
Yeah,
I like I said, I enjoy the project. I can't wait to see other people's reactions to it. I can't wait till you drop it.
yeah,
This has been a great time, man. Thank you for coming on. I
dude.
really
Thank you.
appreciate you. Keep in touch, man. We gotta stay friends.
Absolutely.
We were going
Yeah,
6 years strong, man.
hell yeah. We'll make it happen, dude.
But yeah,
Um, whenever I start a podcast, inevitably one day of my own, you'll be the first guest.
I'll be done. Just give me a call. I'll be there.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah, man.
we'll meet up at a show in Houston one of these
Oh,
days.
for
We're just
sure.
gonna
Just
make it happen.
make sure you shoot me the dates, and I'll make sure I go out there. I said
Where are you at in Houston these days?
I'm Southwest Sugarland, so a little
Oh,
bit
okay,
south.
cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, I do a lot of stuff up north, like Woodlands area, Conroe, for
I
some
know.
reason, but
Every time you do it up there, I'm like, damn, it's in the middle of the week,
it's so
or
far. Yeah, yeah. But
but
I'll get something in town hopefully
no,
soon.
dude, just whatever you got. I actually like. I had this internal monologue today when I was taking my walk. And I was like, man, I've paid so much money to go all the way the fuck to the Woodlands to watch people play at the Cynthia Woods. I was like, I can go support my friend the next time he's here.
Oh,
So
that's a good. I like that. Not
so
necessarily for me specifically, but that's a good mindset everybody should have. Yeah,
no,
support
yeah.
support your friends.
Yeah, so for sure next time we're here, let me know. Send
Yep.
me the dates. I will buy my ticket and I'll be there. Because I gotta see
Thank,
I gotta see you perform last call. I,
thanks,
I
dude.
I cannot go on with my life without seeing you perform last call at least once.
Very cool. Well, I guess I'll take the opportunity then to say March 16th is kind of like a cool little collaboration. It's Texas Toast Podcast third birthday party in conjunction with my 29th birthday party. And that's at the small Dosey Doe whiskey bar, which is also in the Woodlands. It's just not the main one right there off 45. It's a much smaller, more intimate room. But that's March 16th. You can go to my website, kylegarrettmusic.com, and tickets are there. And that's going to be like a super chill, like acoustic. I mean, it's going to be a fun party, but like it's just acoustic. I'll definitely be playing that song. And we've got like, there's like 3 or 4 other guests who are going to come play songs. So it's going to be kind of like a cool changing event all night.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, so
Yeah.
tickets are on your website?
Yep. kylegarrettmusic.com.
Awesome. Okay. I'm gonna go get my tickets tonight.
Cool, man. If you can't make it, all good. There will be
No,
another
I'll be
chance.
there. I'll be there. I'll make
All
sure
right.
whatever is going on that day, I don't care if the world's ending, I'll be there.
Sick, dude. Appreciate that.
Oh, but yeah, thank you again for coming on, man.
Yeah, man.
This has been Kyle Garrett, our amazing guest. Do you have anything else to promote?
You still got me?
Yeah, I still got you.
Okay. I thought it was going to kick me out. Man, I think we covered it. You know, I've got the music stuff going on. Oh, I guess if you're an artist and you need some like video content or whatever, you can check out my company. It's called KG Media. Online, it's kgmedia.us is the website, and I've got all kinds of cool stuff on there. I was nominated Texas Country Music's Videographer of the Year.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool.
Oh,
Very
yes.
unexpected, but just another weird thing in my life. But yeah, I'm happy to work with anybody. That's kind of like a side hustle, passion project. So
Mhm.
hit me up if
Awesome,
you
man.
need something like that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you again for coming on, man. I
Yep.
cannot wait for the project to drop. I will be definitely streaming everything. So if I'm streaming it, y'all should go stream it. Go click on Kyle Garrett and on Spotify and go stream his music, man. Show him some love, share his music. Go check out his TikTok. Let's run up those numbers.
Please, please, please. Actually, no, screw TikTok. I don't even care. Just hit that follow button on Spotify.
Yes, sir.
That's supposed to do the most. So
Right? Okay. Awesome, man. Well, thank you again for coming on. This has been the Weekly D Podcast. I'm Danny G. That was Kyle Garrett. And remember, if you can't get it daily, get it weekly. Peace.